I want you to think about the last photograph you saw of yourself and genuinely loved. Not just tolerated, not just thought was okay, but actually loved. Now think about what you were wearing on your face that day. I have asked this question to dozens of women over 60, and the answer that comes back almost every single time surprises people. More often than not, the photos they love most, the ones where they look the most radiant and the most like themselves, are the ones where they were wearing the least amount of makeup. Not no makeup. Not a bare face with nothing on it. But significantly less than their usual routine. Less foundation. Less powder. Lighter on the brow. Softer on the lip. And yet somehow more glowing, more alive, and more genuinely beautiful than the photos where they had spent 30 minutes carefully applying everything they owned. Here is why that happens, and more importantly, here is exactly what to replace heavy makeup with so that your face in every photograph and every mirror from this point forward looks the way it does in your very best ones. Stay with me because what I am about to share is going to fundamentally change the way you think about your makeup bag, not by taking things away from you, but by giving you something that works so much better for the face you actually have right now. Welcome back to Radiant at Every Age, the channel that believes looking your absolute best after 60 sometimes means unlearning habits that served you beautifully for decades but simply do not serve you the same way anymore. If you are new here, welcome. This channel is built for women who want honest, practical beauty advice without being talked down to, and without being told to simply embrace looking older as if that is the only option available. You deserve better than that, and this community delivers it every single week. I am so glad you are here. To my returning viewers, thank you for coming back. This topic has been one of the most requested ones since we started this channel, and I am so glad we are finally getting into it together. Let us go. Before we get into this, if you have not subscribed yet, please do that now and tap the bell because we cover exactly this kind of honest, useful content every single week, and you do not want to miss what is coming. And while you watch today, I want you to think about your own makeup routine, and ask yourself honestly, when did I last update it? Drop your answer in the comments, because I think what you discover in this video might genuinely surprise you. Now let us get into it. Let me start with something that might feel a little uncomfortable to hear, but that I want you to sit with because it comes from a place of genuine care. The makeup techniques most of us learned and perfected in our 30s and 40s were designed for a different face. A face with more natural collagen beneath the surface to keep foundation sitting smoothly. A face with fuller brows that could handle more definition. A face with lips that held liner precisely without any migration. A face where powder did not settle into lines because the lines were not yet deep enough to settle into. Our faces at 60 are not lesser versions of those faces. They are simply different ones. And the problem is not makeup itself. The problem is applying the same products and the same techniques to a face that has genuinely changed, and then wondering why the result feels heavier, older, or less like us than it used to. Everything I am sharing today is not about wearing less for the sake of it. It is about replacing what is no longer working with something that works significantly better for the skin, the features, and the natural beauty you are actually working with right now. Reason 1, heavy foundation is doing the opposite of what you think. Let us start with the biggest one because this is the change that makes the most immediate and visible difference. Full coverage foundation was designed to create a flawless surface, and on younger skin with a plumper, smoother texture beneath it, that is exactly what it does. But on mature skin, full coverage foundation does something completely different. It settles into every fine line, every pore, and every texture variation on the surface of your face and makes them more visible, not less, because the pigment literally collects in those areas and draws the eye directly to them. This is why photographs taken with full coverage foundation on often look heavier and more aged than photographs taken with little to no foundation at all. The foundation is not hiding the texture. It is highlighting it. The replacement here is not going completely bare. It is switching to what makeup artists consistently call skin tinting, which means using a product with a much lighter coverage that evens out your skin tone without trying to completely resurface it. A tinted moisturizer, a skin tint, or a BB cream with a sheer to light finish does something that full coverage foundation simply cannot do on mature skin. It lets your actual skin show through while correcting uneven tone, and the result reads as healthy and glowing rather than covered and flat. Apply it with your fingertips rather than a brush or sponge, warming the product between your palms first and pressing it gently into your skin rather than rubbing it across the surface. This technique prevents the product from sitting on top of your skin and settling into lines, instead allowing it to meld with your skin for a genuinely natural finish. Reason 2, powder is quietly aging you by lunchtime. This one surprises almost everyone the first time they hear it because powder has been a staple in most women's routines for so long that questioning it feels almost radical. Setting powder, especially heavy or full coverage powder, does two things to mature skin that work directly against looking radiant. First, it absorbs the natural moisture from the surface of your skin, which is moisture that mature skin is already working hard to hold onto, leaving your face looking dull and flat rather than fresh and luminous. Second, over the course of a day as your skin moves and creases naturally through expressions, powder settles progressively deeper into every line on your face, creating by midday a result that looks significantly more aged than your bare skin would have looked by comparison. The replacement is not skipping setting entirely. It is switching to a setting technique rather than a setting product. A light mist of a hydrating setting spray, applied after your tinted moisturizer and any other products, sets everything in place without the drying, line settling effect that powder creates. If you feel you need powder specifically in your T-zone for shine control, use the very lightest translucent powder available, and apply it only to that area with a small brush rather than pressing it across your entire face. Reason 3, overdefined brows are shrinking your eyes. Here is a specific detail that ages a face faster than almost any other single makeup element, and it is one that most women are completely unaware of because the habit of filling in brows became so automatic over the years that it stopped being something they consciously noticed. As brows naturally thin and lighten with age, the instinct is to define and fill them more heavily to compensate. But a brow that is significantly darker or more sharply defined than your natural hair color and texture at this stage of life does something that feels counterintuitive. It draws so much visual attention to the brow bone that it actually makes the eye beneath it appear smaller and more shadowed by comparison. The replacement here is feathering rather than filling. Instead of drawing a defined line or using a dark pomade to fill the brow solidly, use a brow pencil or powder that is 1 to 2 shades lighter than you currently use, and apply it in small, hair-like strokes following the direction of your natural brow hairs rather than in a solid filled line. The goal is a brow that looks like it simply has more of its own hairs rather than one that looks drawn on. This technique keeps the brow defined enough to frame the face, while allowing the eye itself to remain the focal point rather than the brow above it. I want to pause here for a quick moment because if you are sitting there nodding along and thinking I have been doing at least 2 of these things for years, that is completely normal, and you are definitely not alone in this. Go ahead and hit that like button right now, it genuinely helps more women find this video and this conversation. And if you have a friend who has been wearing the same makeup routine for the last decade, and wondering why photographs do not feel like her anymore, send this video to her today. What comes next might be the most useful part of all. Keep watching. Reason 4, dark lip liner is shrinking your lips. This one is worth understanding because the instinct behind it makes complete sense, it just produces the opposite of the intended result. As lips naturally lose a little volume and definition with age, the habit of using a defined, often dark lip liner to recreate that edge feels logical. But a lip liner that is significantly darker than the lip itself, or one that creates a very sharp, defined edge around the lip, visually reduces the perceived size of the mouth rather than enhancing it. The dark outline creates a border that the eye reads as the boundary of the lip, making it appear contained and smaller rather than full and natural. The replacement is color matching rather than outlining. A lip liner that precisely matches your natural lip color, or the lipstick you are wearing, applied in soft feathered strokes rather than a hard line, recreates definition without creating a border. Pairing this with a lip color in a soft warm nude, a soft rose, or a gentle berry rather than a very dark or very cool tone shade adds the appearance of fullness rather than reducing it. Reason 5, what to build your new routine around. Now that we have talked about what to step back from, let us talk about what genuinely works beautifully for women over 60, and what your updated routine can be built around. Cream products are your new best friend. Cream blush, cream highlighter, and cream eyeshadow all move with mature skin rather than sitting on top of it, which means they look more natural, last longer without settling into lines, and create that lit from within glow that powder products simply cannot replicate on skin over 60. A cream blush applied with your fingertips to the apples of your cheeks, and blended softly upward toward your temples does more for your overall radiance than any amount of powder bronzer or highlight ever could. It mimics the natural flush that younger skin produces on its own, and gives your complexion exactly the warmth and life that heavy foundation takes away. For eyes, a soft wash of a warm neutral cream shadow, something in champagne, warm taupe, or soft bronze, applied with your fingertip and blended softly does far more to open and brighten the eye area than a heavily lined or heavily shadowed look. And a single coat of a lengthening mascara on the upper lashes only, skipping the lower lash entirely, lifts the eye upward rather than drawing it downward. Finally, a light reflecting concealer applied only where you actually need it, under the eyes and at the corners of the mouth, rather than all over the face, creates brightness exactly where it matters most without the heaviness that comes from covering every surface. Here is the truth this entire video has been building toward. The women over 60 who consistently look the most radiant, the most current, and the most like genuinely beautiful versions of themselves are almost never the ones wearing the most makeup. They are the ones who have updated their relationship with makeup to match the face they actually have today, not the face they were applying it to 20 years ago. Skin tinting instead of full coverage foundation. Hydrating setting spray instead of heavy powder. Feathered brows instead of defined filled ones. Matched lip liner instead of a dark outline. Cream products instead of powder products across the board. None of these changes require throwing out your entire makeup collection overnight. Start with 1. Try the tinted moisturizer instead of your full coverage foundation for 1 week, and watch what happens in photographs and in your mirror. I think the result will speak for itself. If this video gave you something today, drop a comment below and tell me which change you are making first. This community always shows up in the comments, and I genuinely love reading every single one. Like this video if it shifted something for you, subscribe if you have not already, and share it with a woman in your life who has been wearing the same makeup routine for years and is ready for something that finally feels like her again. I will see you in the next one.